Hi, I'm Karen. We're here at Montavilla Sewing Center. We're going to talk about the stitch combinations on the Bernette b38. This machine works similarly to many of the Janome models, so watching this will give you clues as to how to use this same procedure on those models as well. So first of all, we're going to take out our little thread stitch guide down here, and we're going to go to mode 3. Mode 3 gives us our various stitches that we can do. If you want to just do one stitch of a particular kind, let's say we were going to do stitch number 89, and you want to do that stitch and combine it with another one, start out by pushing memory. Now notice what happens in your screen. You got this blinking light. That means it's ready for the next stitch. So let's say we wanted to do, let's say 54, and do that. Now what's going to happen is it's going to do 89, 54, 89, 54. Now to know what you have up here on the screen, let's say you had 10 different stitches, something for instance. You could use this here where it says memory. So you want to find out what's in memory, that's there, and this is here. Okay, so we could add other stitches. Now what I like to do is make sure that when I'm adding stitches that they join either in the middle or on the baseline. For instance, stitch 71 or 72, they have a baseline. If you have stitches that join in the middle and then a stitch that joins on the baseline, then you're going to have a little jump stitch that goes from one to the other. So it's best to kind of make them pretty even and equal like that. Now, so if you have a stitch combination and you want to clear that, you can clear individual stitches by just pushing the clear button, or you can press and hold, and that clears the entire stitch combination. So we can also do this with our alphabet. Now you can switch from alphabet to decorative stitches when you program, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's go to mode 4 here. I'm going to put a little musical note there. So I'm going to go 83, memorize, and then I'm going to put 19, memory, and then I'm going to go over to this little heart here, 85, memory. I'm going to spell out I love sewing. So let's go with a capital letter S, which is 29, lowercase, which is 41. Uh-oh, looks like I forgot to do something. I forgot to put memory after I did the S. So I can clear that out, go back here to 29, and see it shows you right up here what you have, 29, now memory. And then go to 41, memory, to W here, which is 59, memory, over here to 45, memory, and then 50 is N, and then did I go memory? Aha, almost caught myself there. I love sewing. Okay, so I had a little note at the beginning. I'm going to put another note at the end, make sure I do memory, and 83, memory. So I want to do just one of those, and so at the end I'm going to just put this right here. Oh, that doesn't work that way. That's fine. It'll do that. Okay, so what I'm going to go is check my stitching or my sequencing right here. So I have the little note there, I, the heart, I love sewing. Okay, now to me it looks like those are a little bit too close together, the note and the G. So I'm going to put a space there. So the way that you insert something into there, you go back here until the cursor is right under that one. Now whatever you put is going to be right in front of there. In this case I want a space. So I'm going to go over here to mode 3, go right down there till I get to mode 3, and these stitches right in here, 59 through 63, or 62, 59 through 62, are the stitches that are going to join. They're going to put an extra couple of stitches in there, 1 or 2. So 1 would mean it does 1 stitch, 59 has it joining in the center, 60 has a joining on the baseline. For sewing a sequence of stitches that are lettering, you want to have it on the baseline. So I'm going to put 60 and memory. Now you can see I've got between the G and the note, I've got that stitch there. So, but I want to do that on the other end too. So right after I do this one here, so to put a one of those space stitches between here and here, I'm going to go over right there, and then I'm going to put that same stitch in, which is number 60, memory. Now I have that in there, so I'm checking it again. Here we go. All right. And we could just leave it anywhere in that combination. It will start from the beginning of that little note. Oh, and decorative stitches, this is what I wanted to show you. I'm going to go all the way down here. So when we get to the end of everything, we want to do a locking stitch. That looks just like this button here. So I'm going to do 92 and memory. And that's going to do just one of those sequences, and it will stop. Now remember from a previous video, if you watch this one, if you press and hold this, this will actually cut your thread as soon as it's done doing the locking stitch. So let's stitch that out and see what it looks like. Oh, for one thing, I almost forgot this. This calls for foot F. Foot F and foot A are a little bit different. If you look over here, you can see that foot A, which is your all-purpose foot, is nice and flat here. But we're going to do a decorative stitch which involves using a lot of thread in the fabric, and so we need a bit of a channel there for that to flow right through. So we use the F foot, or the fancy stitch foot. I'm going to put this under here, put that down there, put our thread under here, and off we go. So I'm going to just keep my foot down on the pedal until it's ready to go. And as I said before, you can start anywhere in the sequences. I'm going to just start right in the middle just to show you what it looks like. Here we go. Right in the middle there. It's still going to start with that little musical note. Then it starts stitching out the letters. And it does the little heart, uppercase, lowercase letters. And it says up here where you are, but of course, I like to keep my eyes right here where I'm sewing, just to make sure I'm stitching straight. Keeping my foot down on the pedal until it's all done. And there we go. And you can hear that the machine cut the thread. I love sewing. Who doesn't? Everybody loves sewing, right? That's why we're here. So, this shows how you can do your lettering, and you can see how nice and bold those stitches are for the letters. The stitches that join the letters from one to the other are kind of faint, so you really don't need to trim those little stitches if you don't want to. Now I'm going to show you, that's on nice thick denim, okay? I'm going to show you that you can sew on this thinner fabric, but you want to put a piece of tearaway stabilizer on it, so that way your stitches will be nice and flat. Okay, so let's say we want to take out one of these. Let's say we wanted to take out the heart, and we wanted to put I love sewing. Now remember, where you're going to, I'm just going to show you the program, I won't necessarily stitch it out. If I want to use this space right here, number 91, so wherever the cursor is, that stitch will be put right before it. So go 91 and memory, and there we go. Okay, so I want to write love, so we're going to go down to 4, 22, memory, 51, memory, 58, which is V, memory, and 41, memory, and then we want to do another one of those spaces, and on this chart we also have where you can put a space in. I'm going to do 99 memory. Whoops, that didn't look quite right. I think we got two of those, so I'm going to take that one out, and I'm going to go back over here. I love, I think I accidentally took the S out. Well, I'm going to go back and put that capital S, which is 29, memory. I love sewing. Oh, I know what I did. I spelled that all wrong, but you know what we can do? We could just start over again. Okay, but you get the idea. Using these keys, you can program something and memorize it, put the automatic cutter if you want to have that in there. But once you've cleared that out, it also clears out that automatic cutter. Now this little turnover key is a really fun little key. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to mode 3. I'm going to show you a stitch that works well for that. A lot of these stitches, if you turn them over, it's going to look the same either way. For instance, stitch 84 or 83, they're going to be, the mirror of that is going to be the same. But let's go with stitch 89. Stitch 89, memory. And then if I wanted that stitch 89 mirror opposite, I would go 89 and then press this key here, which turns it over, then memory. Now with those two stitches, I can get an entire line of stitch, one with a squiggle going this way, one with a squiggle going the other way. So I'll show you what that looks like. And I didn't put any automatic stop here, so I'll just stop wherever it stops. Now let's say I did want to stop at the end of the stitch. What I would do, let's say I'm in the middle of the stitch right now, you can just push this here. This will go to the end of that stitch cycle and then stop. If I had pushed the reverse button, then it would stop immediately at the middle of that stitch cycle. You can see here it ended up. So it almost looks like a little line of mustaches, doesn't it? And that's from just taking that stitch, which is stitch 89, and making one of them the regular way and one of them with the mirror key. I mentioned a moment ago that we have some stitches that join from stitch to stitch motif on the baseline, some in the middle. For instance, on the baseline, your lettering would join at the bottom from stitch to stitch, from letter to letter. But there are a couple of stitches that join in not the middle and not the baseline, like the 65 here that joins kind of 1/3 of the way towards the left, and this one 29 also. So if we were going to have a stitch that joined one of these motifs to the next motif, but we had a bridge stitch in between, we would need to, we couldn't use the center one or the baseline one, or I'll show you what it would look like. For instance, let's do 29, memory, and let's say we want to do the, well, the closest it is 59. Let's do 59, memory, and I'm going to do a second one of those. 59, memory. Now we're going to stitch this out and take a look at, see what it looks like right next to what we just stitched. These sort of little diamond looking things. I'm going to just stop there. I'll take a look at what this looks like. Well, those stitches don't quite look right because where they join is right there, and we want to get that more up here. So we have some special bridge stitches, 61 and 62. 61 is just going to give you a straight line of stitching. 62 gives you sort of a triple stitch, a real bolder looking stitch. But for our purposes, we're going to just use 61. You see that little arrow that has points both to the right and to the left. That means this bridge stitch will adjust to wherever you need it to be. So let's go to this. We're going to clear that one out. Going to clear that one out. So now we just have this stitch here. So we're going to go to 61. Put 61 in there, memory. I'm going to put another one in there, 61, memory. So now let's check this. Whoop, okay, let's start over again. Did that wrong. Okay, 29, memory, 61, memory, 61, memory. Now we should have 129 stitch with 2 stitches in between each of those motifs. Let's stitch it out and take a look at that. And if I wanted to finish that motif, I'd go right here, and it does my little locking stitch. Snip that off. Now that looks a lot better to me. Of course, you can have fewer stitches if you want, but that joins right there at where it joins from stitch to stitch if I was going to sew one of these motifs right after another. So that's the beauty of using stitch number 61, because it will adjust depending on where you need that stitch to join one motif to the next. So this is some of the ways that you can use these decorative stitches. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found this helpful, please give us a thumbs up. Also, you can leave comments and questions in the area below. And stay tuned for some of our other videos. See you later. Bye.